Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1389, just 11 away from 1400. And I am Mike Matthews, broadcasting from Café Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valleymont. It's dark right now. It's 5:33. And today, John Deere the engineer, Floyd the Floorman, Chely Shoehart. And we get to a segment called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Mike's Scavenger Hunt. We're going to go on a hunt through the news of the world.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It'll be interesting. I had a delicious lunch yesterday, though the service was pretty bad in every way. It was a crazy team of people doing their best to make it seamless, the service.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
But they're not. It's crazy teen time at a lot of places that you go to because it's summer jobs.
Mike's
Even though they say
Daily
the Generation Zers
Podcast.
don't have the time for summer jobs,
Yeah.
or they can't get summer jobs. But I see a lot of them at summer jobs, so the service was pretty bad. The potato salad, though, it's called Joe's Corner in Niles. I like their potato salad, and they have a pretty good selection of beers. I had an Altamont beer from Altamont Brewing out in Livermore. Look who walked in. It was, you know what? Beer. That's all I have to say.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I don't like beer.
Why don't you like it?
It tastes weird. It's like thick. It's got all kinds of weird stuff in it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
Oh. Look who else walked in. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the engineer. Beer is delicious. Beer. I try and make a whole bunch. I make mead. Mead! Oh, that's the honey alcohol beer stuff. Wow, very impressive, John Deere. You're always surprising me with what you come up with. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, anyway, Café Anyway. That's what I did yesterday with a coworker who told me a funny story. He said, hey, I once lost a pair of sunglasses because we were looking at...
And here's today's podcast picture.
Not the podcast picture. We weren't looking at that, Ariel. Oh, but look who just walked in.
Mark, it's a disgruntled fiddle player, tell you what.
What?
I don't know why I'm here today.
Because you're in the podcast picture today, person.
Thanks, Mike. Hey, John Deere, what's going on? I'm fine. How are you? I'm going really good.
Oh, John, disgruntled fiddle player.
Yeah, whatever, Floyd.
You know, you guys can keep talking, that's fine, but we got to get on with the podcast. We don't have much time anymore. Look, it's 5:36. That's all kinds of crazy right there. We got all kinds of stuff to... But what my coworker told me is he had these sunglasses. And all kinds of crazy.
I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so the sunglasses he lost at a restaurant, and he kept calling them back. Oh, no, it was like a CVS. Anyway, it's neither here nor there, over there, whatever.
I'm taking a breather. Sorry.
Okay, now I got my energy back to finish the story. He called them back over and over again. They never had his sunglasses, so he just gave up. Then a year later, he's in a place similar to this. He's in this general area of where he lost his sunglasses. And he's about to leave, like a restaurant or something. And I think he was at the San Jose Farmers Market, actually. And he's leaving, and somebody runs up to him. Sir, you left these. You forgot these. And it was sunglasses that looked exactly like the sunglasses he had lost before a year earlier. And so rather than saying, hey, do these sunglasses belong with it? He just took them. And he was gone. He was out the door with the sunglasses. And it made me think about somebody, a comedian, I forget who said this, but that basically there is one umbrella. Because we all leave umbrellas places like on the bus or at work, and people take that umbrella that's been left behind and then they use it, and then they'll leave it somewhere and someone else. So basically there's just one umbrella, was this comedian's joke. But How I Met Your Mother, the television show that you may remember, included a guy by the name of Neil Patrick Harris, who, though he is gay, he played a womanizer on that show. And it's fascinating because he's an actor. And now he's on all those beer commercials, and it comes all back to beer once again.
Beer.
But my point was, all the women on How I Met Your Mother, they all confirm that celebrity stereotype of celebrities have to have big heads. Physically, they have to have big bobbleheads. That's how you make it in showbiz. If your body and your torso is in any way bigger than your head, no. But if you have a huge head, you're going to get work in Hollywood. And that's how it is with all the women they picked on How I Met Your Mother, including the woman that ended up being the mysterious mother. I think her name was Vanessa Milioti. She had a huge head. I mean, beautiful smile, huge head, tiny body. But there was a whole running gag about an umbrella in that show, and how the umbrella eventually turned out to be owned originally by the mysterious mother, who was named, I think, the final season or just before the final season. But I can't watch that show. I watched every single episode, but I can't rewatch any episode, even though it'll make me laugh. But it's just so much. You just know the final destination was. It's like I can't watch Lost. Oh, but Lost is so great. No, I know all about the ending and how it sucked, so I don't want to watch it. Finally, I would like to tell you about the wonderful thing going on in Podcastra Valley, Mont. Actually, Podcastra Valley specifically. Between the BART station and Castro Valley Boulevard, it has become the Mission. There are so many homeless people walking around between the Castro Valley BART station and the Castro Valley Boulevard. It is overflowing. I've never seen so many. I have to walk when I take BART on the weekend to my weekend job, and it's gotten pretty bad when I'm walking anywhere between the boulevard and the BART station. Just, I don't know what's going on there, so just an observation. But that is the end of the show. No, it's not, because we have the segment, the Mike Scavenger Hunt, we're going to get to, and there's some interesting news nuggets we're going to look for. And the website is mikesdailypodcast.com to hear all the past shows. If you'd like to help out the show through the Amazon link, buy whatever it is you're going to buy on Amazon, go through that link at mikesdailypodcast.com. It helps us out. There's also the PayPal. If you'd like to help us out that way, you'll become an inglorious Mike's Daily podcaster and get a special personalized MP3 for thee from all the Café Anyway characters. And there's all the links to all the places you can listen to the show, all the social media we are on. We are all over the dang place. We're even on some website called Mixcloud. Did you know that we're on SoundCloud too, but Mixcloud, there are hundreds upon hundreds of episodes of Mike's Daily Podcast at mixcloud.com/Mike's Daily Podcast. But all the links at mikesdailypodcast.com, and now the segment called
Mike's Scavenger Hunt.
Okay, we have with us today.
So Mitch McConnell, he is planned to present the measure of the health care bill today, rolling back much of the President Barack Obama health care law. He is aiming at a do-or-die vote next week on whether to begin debating the bill, a roll call for which he's got no margin for error. They are angling toward a showdown vote next week amid signs that they have lots of work ahead to win over GOP lawmakers or face a resounding failure. This according to the Associated Press. Since Democrats uniformly oppose the effort, McConnell needs the votes of 50 of the 52 GOP senators to prevail, but conservative Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky says he's a no, and Maine moderate Susan Collins seems all but certain to be opposed, and other Republicans are threatening to vote against it if their demands are not met, leaving party leaders struggling to preserve one of their highest profile priorities. Now, Trump is in France, under fire at home over Russian connections and abroad over climate change and trade. He arrived in Paris today seeking common ground with France's new leader, Emmanuel Macron, who, interestingly enough, Emmanuel Macron is younger than his wife, the exact same amount of years that Melania is younger than Trump. Apparently, Macron was a theater geek, and his wife was his teacher. And they got married. After a bumpy start to relations, the two men both have incentives to improve ties. They had that weird handshake, remember? Macron hoping to elevate France's role in global affairs, and Trump seemingly isolated among world leaders, needing a friend overseas. He comes to France beset by allegations of Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election. Emails released Tuesday suggest his eldest son welcomed Russian help against his father's Democratic rival, Hillary Clinton. Weeks after Macron hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin at the Palace of Versailles, Trump will bask in the trappings of the Bastille Day military parade tomorrow and commemorations of the entry 100 years ago of U.S. troops into World War I. You may remember the call during World War I of U.S. soldiers, "Lafayette, we are here." That was a little bit of history that for some reason was stuck in my brain, and I had to tell you. Talks will focus on shared diplomatic and military endeavors, but an LC official said that Macron would not shy away from trickier issues, and Trump has made few friends in Europe with his rejection of the Paris Accord on climate change and America First trade stance. Macron's aides say he does not want Trump to feel backed into a corner. And did you know this? We found this little bit of interesting news. According to CBS News, the limit on the number of refugees entering the U.S. this year has been reached. The Trump administration set a cap of 50,000 refugees entering the U.S., a number that was hit on Wednesday, yesterday. This comes at a time when the number of displaced people worldwide has recently hit a historical high of 65.5 million, according to a recent report by the UN. That number means that 20 people were forced to flee their homes every minute in 2016. Every minute. The State Department spokesperson said we reached the 50,000 cap on refugee administrations on July 12th. The department allowed all refugees scheduled to travel to the U.S. until this date to come in, but there is a catch. Refugees can still enter the U.S. if they can prove close familial relationships to people that are already in the country. This new exemption is the result of a Supreme Court ruling in late June on Trump's travel ban executive order. And finally, tech. Facebook and Twitter and Alphabet, which owns Google, and dozens of other major technology companies protested online yesterday against proposed changes to U.S. net neutrality rules that prohibit broadband providers from giving or selling access to certain internet services over others. In support of the internet-wide day of action to save net neutrality, more than 80,000 websites, from big social media platforms like Facebook to streaming services like Netflix and matchmaking website OkCupid, which I will never go on again because that brought about a bad relationship, and I blame OkCupid, are displaying banners, alerts, ads, and short videos to urge the public to oppose the overturn of the landmark 2015 net neutrality rules. Net neutrality is a broad principle that prohibits broadband providers from giving or selling access to speedy internet, essentially a fast lane to certain internet services over others. This rule was implemented by the Obama administration in 2015. Changes to the rule are being proposed by the head of the US FCC, Ajit Pai, appointed by Donald Trump back in January. Pai wants the commission to repeal the rules that reclassified internet service providers as if they were utilities, saying the open internet rules adopted under former President Barack Obama harm jobs and investment. The FCC voted 2-1 in May to advance a Republican plan to reverse the net neutrality order. You know, I didn't really see anything on the internet about it yesterday, and I was all over the internet doing my thing. Actually, you know, I mentioned earlier this podcast is on all kinds of social media. I don't have one of those fancy schmancy things you pay for where they post things to all your social media. I have to go and do it each one at a time. So it takes a little bit of time for me. But none of my social media was telling me about net neutrality except for Vimeo. You can listen to this show on Vimeo, by the way. And Vimeo wanted me to sign my name up and give my name, address, phone number, email address, everything to some website I'd never heard of before. So I ended up not in any way. So I'm just going to say on my podcast what I've said before. I don't like the whole fast lane on the internet stuff, because that means shows like this are going to get pushed off to the side, and maybe your future podcast will be pushed off to the side. Or if you got a bunch of bucks, you can be on the fast lane. I don't like it. It's the internet should remain neutral. As we go outside a Café Anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcaster Valley. It should remain free. Hey, next show, it's going to be the wonderful Chely... Wait, we had her today. Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Enjoy your day. If you lose your sunglasses, I hope they come back to you. It's like love, right? Let it go, it comes back to you. Because it's a little thing called the love boat. Not the love bug, but the love exciting and a little bitty teeny-weeny thing called the love bug. Have a wonderful day.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!